Hi, and welcome to my channel, and today we're going to talk about this one and only Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This is a big one because it's one of the best-selling knives in America, and I don't like to use a thumb flick for this. I'm one of those spider flick guys where you just use a middle finger and just flick it like that. Other people do it this way. This, by the way, is my girlfriend's Spyderco Paramilitary 2, so she's got good taste. I just wanted to show you here. It's the same handle, it's same everything. S35 VN steel. It's just a black powder coat and this plain stainless steel. And the thing about Spyderco is their blade design. They call this the leaf clip point design. So they want us to think of a leaf, but I cannot help but see a dead animal. It is a very odd looking knife, you gotta admit. When you see this, first thing you think of is like, what the heck is that? It looks like a dying bird. But ironic, and that's one of the things that actually turned me off to this knife at first. Their thumb circle thing here is pretty neat, but at the same time, I'm like, that wasn't good enough. That's adding to the dead bird look, to be honest with you. So it turned me off to it, but ironically, as I use this, I noticed it's part of its strength, because one of the things it does is it allows you to grip. This jimping around here is so good for the index finger and the thumb that the grip is amazing. It's phenomenal. I'm not joking. The way it feels in your hand is phenomenal. It really feels like it's like more a part of you, and it's just phenomenal control of the blade. And the blade also allows you to carry this around, I think, in places that you normally can't carry knives, because check it out. It doesn't look scary. Again, it looks like a dead bird. So when you are in a place where like the work kind of allows some utility knives, like let's say box cutters, and they frown upon like knives because it looks scary, and people get offended by that kind of stuff these days. But this doesn't look threatening at all. Like once you open it, people kind of know it's a knife, but at the same time, they're curious. It's like, what the heck is that? So that ended up being a lot of its strength for me. Spyderco's blade design, this design works really well as a cutter and a slicer, even though it has a really thick blade stock at the end. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that it's flat all the way to the top. But when you cut through fruits and like make notches and things, it just goes in like butter. One thing I will say though is, for some reason, even though they're the same knife, the black powder coated one was so stiff, and I could not flick it for the life of me. My girlfriend's, her Spyderco Paramilitary 2 came flawless, and it just was just beauty. But mine, I think it's because of the black powder coat. Now, some of you guys that know more about knives than I do would probably watch this and think like, oh yeah, of course it's much tougher. It has a coating on it. But I thought it wouldn't matter, because if they made a black powder coated steel and they put everything together, I thought they would put it to their spec of like the same smoothness. But that's not the case here, and I guess that's not the case everywhere, because I have multi-tools that are black powder coated, and I also had the same model that's stainless, and for some reason, stainless works so much better than the black powder coated stuff. And I think that's a general rule of thumb in most knives. Not all knives, but most knives that I have. For some reason, yeah, if it's a black powder coated stuff, or I guess any powder coated really, it just has a rougher time. But I was able to adjust this so that it would, although it doesn't work as fancy as this one, it works pretty darn close, and it flicks real smooth. Up to an extent, I like it. Again, this has a G10 handle. Again, an awesome, phenomenal grip. And I think the reason this becomes a better knife is because you have a better control of the knife. It's not because necessarily the knife itself is better in terms of like material, but it's just the fact that you're able to control this that makes it that much more powerful and that much better. And that's why people, when they use this, they fall in love with it, and it becomes literally the #1 selling knife in America. Of course, when you're talking about folding pocket knives, you can't talk about it without the locking system. And this comes with a compression lock, which is basically almost like a liner lock feeling back here. It is so easy to use. It allows you to, well, I should probably close it better. But you're able to one hand open and one hand close. It's an amazing system, and it's a very, very strong system for locking in the back here. Uh, nice carrying clip. There's not a lot of bad things you can't say about the Spyderco here. In fact, this particular black one, as I was adjusting, I cut myself twice because I'm the idiot. It's not because of the knives per se. It is a nice fault for being so sharp though that any tiny like touch, it just cut me right away. Don't worry, it was more like a paper cut than a deep cut or anything, because it just happened to touch there because like I said, as I was adjusting, it wasn't opening quite the way I like it to. There's not a lot of negative things you can say about this knife. It is a bulkier knife in a sense of width because of the Spyderco design. The thumb is, I think the thumb's hole here is a pretty cool idea, a very, very cool way to do it instead of the thumb, the grip, the flick. You would think because they're called Spyderco that they would have some spider-like features. By that, I mean like it'll look more like a spider than a dead bird. I gotta say, as much as a great knife this is in terms of like control and all kinds of versatility, at the same time, it for some reason doesn't feel as a versatile a tool. I don't know why, but the way the blade is designed, it makes me kind of scared to try minor things with it. Although I'm sure it's strong enough, I'm sure the tip will hold this edge. But compared to some of the other knives I have, I don't know why, but unless it's just for slicing and cutting, I just don't feel confident in this knife for some reason. Now, that's just me. I think it's just a feeling. I want to ask all of you, do you feel the same way about Paramilitary too? I don't know if this is a great stabber, like where you can pierce through tree, and I don't know why, but I feel kind of weird doing it. It is not a very good grip to do it that way. It's literally just one way and then excellent that way. But I just don't feel as versatile a knife, like especially when I, let's say, hold it here just by the handle. Because of those, I just don't feel that confidence that I should get in knife. But I can't think of any specific scenarios where I think it would fail. So I don't know that either. So I honestly think it's just me. But how the feeling you have and the confidence you have in your knife is very, very important when you are in a hard use situation. Now, if you're going camping or even doing some bushcrafting, this is gonna be all you need, really. But I cannot, even though it's called Paramilitary too, I cannot imagine it in a tactical situation for some reason. But again, that could just be me. The reason I say that is, even though I think it might be able to perform, if the time came to it, I will pick a different knife. I don't know. I just don't have the same confidence as some of the Spideys out there. Again, I am not the biggest Spyderco fan. I know that's shocking to you because all knife guys are basically Spyderco fans because they make these. Don't get me wrong, it's a phenomenal knife. It's a great knife. It's an excellent knife. Definitely worth the money for the most part, especially when it comes to the PM2. But it just doesn't fill me with confidence. Even this looks like a bird that's nested. You know that bird from Pixar Up? That it looks like it's, yeah, it just reminds me of that bird. Anyways, that is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. But that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Let me know if you guys have questions about how I feel about it, something specific, and or if there's some kind of a short angle and such that I can record and put it on Instagram. Just let me know. So, all right, guys. See you guys next time on the next episode where I pick one of my blades from my knife collection and just talk about it because I am quarantined in pretty much like all of you. So, all right. Have a good one.